When that hard thing happened, how do you train yourself to remember, like, it's going to be okay? I can move through this. I can get through. How do you do that?
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that because I remember the moment in the car. I was in the Whole Foods parking lot bringing some groceries home, and I saw the email preview come in. It just said, like, I saw the subject line from LinkedIn. It was a cease and desist. And so I remember the feeling of, like, I knew what it would contain. I didn't need to read it. I knew, like, okay, like, this is something I thought might happen. I knew what we were going to do if it did happen. My first response was like, I'm just going to write him back in a few hours and tell him we intend to comply. Can we have some more time? Simple as that, you know? But I remember the feeling that the first time this happened many years ago, it was like an uncontrollable fill up of, like, you know, when you're kind of starts at your toes and goes to the top of your head, and you just read all through the body, right? And this time that happened, but on a much more, I felt it happen, but then it kind of, like, I was able to start letting some of it go and just sit and breathe. And I actually uttered to myself, I just said, my life is not under threat. And I like to say that in those cases because in our modern society, we often react as if our lives are under threat. And we have the same biological reaction. And if you're a law firm and you're hearing this, you're going to see this and hear it in some of your clients when they get that, like, I'm being chased by a tiger. And you're like, no, you're not. You got a piece of paper in the mail. No, you're not, you know? But it triggers that same thing. And it sounds silly, but just saying, my life is not under threat. It's so easy as a way to diffuse that. Remember that we're just sitting in offices doing stuff. And the worst case scenario is so much better than it used to be. I'm reading a book right now called Debt, the First 5,000 Years. And in any part of the world, in Europe, you could be traveling from Holland through a port to England, and you could end up on an auction block with your life in indentured servitude, and you're worried now that you got a piece of paper in the mail, your life is not under threat. How do you diffuse those moments? Breathe, say that phrase. Remember, try to put it all in context, and then give yourself a little grace. This is going to be difficult. You're not going to die, but it is going to be difficult. And you're going to feel some tough feelings. And other people have felt tough feelings before too.